My name is David Smith. I'm the Director of Water, Environment and Beyond. It's a non-profit consulting and innovation company. We are based in Barcelona, but we actually work globally. And our main areas of innovation are on social, business, and policy. And those innovation aspects we do through financing from the European Commission, through innovation and research funding. And then we use the new knowledge that we gain in those areas to bring it to practical implementation through projects that we implement across Africa, Latin America, and other parts of Europe through funding from the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, Global Green Growth Institute, etc. That's a good question, because you use the words multiple use water services, and it can be a little bit confusing, right? And then you use the acronym MOOSE, and nobody knows what that is. So it's a very easy concept to understand when we're at the home level, that water at a domestic level is used for everything. It's not just potable water. So when we look at potable water, this is water that essentially we use for drinking. But then we have water for washing, we have water for cooking, we have water for cleaning, we have water for everything around the household that we're actually not too conscious about. But then that's domestic water. Now, when we're looking at it in a rural context, we're looking that water is not just used at a domestic level. It's used to assist with agricultural production, livestock water use, as well as all the other aspects that water is needed for around a rural community. And that essentially is what MOOSE is. Yeah, exactly. I'm South African. So I was born, raised, and educated in South Africa. It was during a very difficult time in South Africa's history, during the time of apartheid. But through that period that I grew up, I got very interested in environmental issues, environmental aspects. The reason for that is that we lived in a mining town, and we could see the mine dumps that were mountains around where we lived. And we knew that there was a lot of environmental damage that was happening at that time. And I took an interest in environmental aspects, specifically related to water. And why water? Because when I went to university, there was a very good professor at that time, in fact, Dr. Jackie King, who was a previous laureate of the World Water Prize, Stockholm Water Prize, and she was actually one of the reasons why I got into water in the first place. There was a course called Limnology, which I thought was really interesting, but it was mainly because previous students had told me that you go on very cool field trips, you go out into the nature, into the bush, you have lectures that were that we had a generator running the overhead projector, and we had professors telling us exactly what we were looking at, what we were experiencing in our surrounding. And that gave me a real interest in environmental aspects, in limnology, in freshwater bodies. And so when I went home to tell my parents that I wanted to find myself in the water career, I remember very clearly my mother saying to me, there's no jobs you can get in the water field, so this is no good. Rather have a look in another field where there's an interest and you can do something environment, but not in water, because there's nothing there. And I think that's key for young professionals to take on board, because sometimes we do listen to our parents and we think they know all the answers, especially when we're younger, right? And we're looking to orientate ourselves in the career. And my parents have been fantastic support throughout my life. But there are passions that we have internally that we need to follow. And these passions that we need to follow, they burn deep. And so we need to make sure that we are listening to our own passions. And that's very key. So your parents might say, don't go in this direction, but you need to listen to these passions and move in that direction. And by moving in that direction, I started out at Thames Water, working in a water utility, understanding and learning on the science side of how water is treated, why it is treated, and the necessity to treat it. But it was from there that I thought, okay, I need something a bit more challenging, a bit more open. And moving to Spain, I worked in the research field at an entity called CTM, which has now been transformed into EuroCat. And there I was looking at the international aspects on water, and specifically on the research side and collaboration. And that actually led me to Water Europe. And for the last 10 years or so, I've been in leading the Water Beyond Europe, or International Cooperation on Water, together with Gaetano Casale, and that we have led this group on bringing international cooperation to water to different European entities. And so, yeah, there's a long career there, and I can speak for a long time. But if we're looking at how to look at it from a young water professional side, I think it's very key to follow your passions. If you have a mentor in this space, attach yourself closely to this mentor. This helps a lot to shorten your learning curve. And then if you find that something has failed, don't worry. It fails often before you find the solution where you are meant to be. And then once you feel comfortable, once you feel happy, pursue that area, and you'll find that it is very rewarding.